Welcome to another episode of Subscribed Reviews. This is episode 12, and we will be talking about the Mandalorian Chapter 15.
15, almost over.
The Believer. Yeah, almost over. And this is the last week we saw Din Djarin needed to break Mayfield, Bill Burr's character, out of prison. And the reason why we find out in this episode is because he's ex-Imperial, which he did say. Saw him in that jailbreak. And I thought we were going to get another jailbreak episode, but they kind of just pick him up.
Yeah, simply for us. Yeah. It was like she ain't even offered. I don't think she even offered him reduced time.
Yeah,
either. It was just straight up. Nah, you gotta do this.
Everybody was just telling him to go with her. He was like, "What for?" He's asking. He's asking all these questions.
Yeah, that robot was getting hostile. At one point, he was like, "You got 3 seconds, bro." Yeah. I'm like, okay, he not fucking around.
Yeah,
he's serious.
And then I think they give. I don't know if it's a lot of. Bill Burr had a lot of freedom with his role in this, but he played basically himself. Seemed like
it was very. It felt very natural for him, like this role he was playing. So like either it's one of those things where the role was definitely like built for him, or like you said, he just had a lot of leeway to kind of just be more of himself. Either way. It worked well on screen. Yeah. Regardless, I thought, I do kind of like this character, and I do like, we touched upon more of his backstory, later on in the episode.
An interview is one of him talking about how he got the role. Favreau? Yeah. Jon Favreau. He talked to him directly, and he said, "We wrote a role for you, so you could definitely see it in this episode, especially." Yeah, so the
role
character
was definitely
wrote for. And I think what really struck me when it started, it was him being him when he saw Boba Fett in the new with painted armor. He repainted his armor.
Yeah, looking fresh. Because the boy, it was kind of like. Paint was kind of like real scratched off, like, even back then, like, but it makes sense, because last episode we were told that has been passed down from like person to person to person to person. So that hand-me-down armor was by the time, of course, it got to him, was looking a little, scuffed up. Yeah. So, it's good especially to see that he took care of it this time. It's just kind of like repainted it, kept it in the same colors it's been for a minute.
And then, definitely does. He probably didn't appreciate it until it's gone. Now he's like, "Dang, I gotta take care of this baby."
Looking around, looking hurt.
It definitely could be like how Din Djarin got his new armor. Maybe he gained a new man because he rescued Grogu for it. Could be Boba being instead of just part of the team, he's being a new person that got humbled after taking a dive in the Sarlacc pit. So,
so
it was nice to see that.
Came out a new man. He got reborn.
Yeah. That little transaction is like, "Oh, I thought you were another guy." It was great. And then he sees the Djarin anyway. And
he's like, "Oh, shit."
Is he going to kill me now? And I thought he killed him when he snuck up on him last season, but this is why you keep people alive. This is why you don't kill everyone.
Yep. Because without them, they would have been screwed. Because there was no way for them really to get the coordinates. I don't think there was anyone else they really came across who was like ex-Imperial who would have been able to get this information for them.
Yeah. And then to take him to Slave One, they didn't even tell him what he's doing. They just said, "Come on, get in. You don't have a choice anyway." So
exactly. Like, you're in prison, so it's like, what else you gonna do?
Yeah. And we haven't seen this inside of Slave One where it's like you see it rotating as it flies up. And it's big. It's big enough to fit a lot of people. So it's pretty nice to see. Yeah, we see Cara Dune giving Mayfeld a hard time for being ex-Imperial while he's explaining everything. It's like he has to go to the terminal and she's giving these bad looks. So he's like, "All right." So they eventually go to this new base where it's in a remote island. Again, we see similarities. So when just a forest planet and
looked like just because he was mentioning something about the people there, whether you're part of the Empire or the New Republic, like to them, they're all invaders. So it looked like these people have been trying to live peacefully for a minute, but they always got some group occupying their planet with some political nonsense that they clearly don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, and the reason why they start talking about it and that's transport, because the only Mayfeld and Din Djarin can go, because the other three will show up in the scanners, because one is ex-rebel. I'm sure the other one was in a bounty.
Yep.
And then when Boba said, let's just say they'll recognize my face, I was like, ooh, because he used to be a clone trooper. And clone troopers were excommunicated from the Empire eventually.
It was.
And they got too old. So Din Djarin changed his armor, and we see Mayfeld's character talk about bending the rules when it comes to their morals. And
which it was a good thing to go into, because he kind of questioned him on it. He's like, well, what is it? Is that you can't take off the mask completely, or what was the other thing you
can't
said?
Show your face.
Or you can't show your face,
Because there's a difference. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, it's like, is it just the armor itself, or you just can't show your face, period? Because it's like, if that's the case, then you might as well just cover your face with some cloth or something like that when you just want to eat or sleep or something like that, because it doesn't look comfortable at all sleeping in.
Yeah, he was complaining about the armor and the helmet, even complaining about putting shoes on. So it was very very on point with them. Yeah, as they're transporting this very explosive cargo, which we see we've seen in Solo. So they transport cargo like this, and it's highly explosive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that
right on something like that. It's called.
And he has that philosophical discussion, which is Bill Barr, definitely him. That's just like when I listen to his podcast, is definitely how he sees life. A very cynical thing, but sometimes cynicals are believers. That's why I think this title was The Believer, because we'll see later on that when it comes to, he talks a lot of smack, but he does have his own lines too. So
yeah, definitely.
And they got chased by pirates, which I don't think they're pirates. They're probably natives of the land, because when pirates are there, they steal stuff, but they're trying to explode.
They were just actively trying to blow it up. That's it. So I guess they like, as long as the Empire wasn't.
Maybe.
So it seems like if you think about it, they were just trying to stop them from getting it, whatever they were trying to use it for, whatever they're trying to power up. So it was more an attempt, but it's like they didn't know, because they're just going in as disguised as Empire. So it sucks that a lot of them, and you look at it, when you think about it, I'm like, these guys were kind of heroes too, like definitely weren't to them pirates, but honestly wasn't.
I could see like they could have been competing people trying to get that same material for their own pirates' needs too.
Possibly, but it's like they kept actively trying to just blow
it up. Instead of
they took out, like, there was like two ahead of them.
And they exploded those.
So
and there was even more from before, so you could see, which is cool. We saw that. We as we talked about those little villagers seeing that kid look up. Din Djarin looking at him, he was like feeling sad,
reminding him of when he was a little foundling.
So they eventually reach it, and like they're about to get ambushed by three more pirate ships when they're about to just reach it, and then the TIE fighters come in, the cavalry comes in.
The real bad guys come in.
The real cavalry,
And it's like painting them in like a light where it's like, oh, hooray, they got saved, But it's like, well, think about who just saved them.
Which is nice to see, because there's still people on the other side, so they were cheering them on for making it and stuff. But these are all bad guys.
We're seeing it from the Empire's point of view. Like when they make the heroic save, when the whatever ship or whoever they're trying to transport makes it into the base, and everyone claps and cheers like, "Yeah, you made it!" You know, it's like, what are we really celebrating here? You know? But I guess it was kind of cool to see it from the other side, the other perspective, real quick, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, and then they have to go to the terminal. It's in the office quarters, and Mayfeld starts to go in, but he recognizes an old officer of his. He says he can't do it, and then Djarin goes in to do it after like some arguing about it.
Yeah. And that's when his morals come back into play with his beliefs. You know what I mean? It's like, are you gonna compromise your beliefs to because you said when it comes to the child, you seem to break a lot of your own rules, and he knew this was his only way of doing it. So
he took off his mask, and it's nice to see Pedro Pascal. I'm like, oh,
I know. I think we get to see his face once a season. Once every season.
Once a season, yeah. And he's trying to scan so he could put them back on because technically it would be no living things on his face. But then
he did keep it on at first. I don't know why the hell he thought that was gonna work. Like,
trying to get away with it.
It's facial recognition, man. Then anybody could just walk up in here, just scan and get some coordinates real quick. Like, what kind of security is that?
Yeah. So then the officer, I guess, he had nothing better to do, but he started harassing him as he's just scanning his face. And he was freezing up. Djarin was freezing up because he's exposed, he's risking everything for the child, and he looks like so uncomfortable without his helmet on.
Like this dude he's a Mandalorian. When it comes to Empire, all that, that's like a whole different type of military, to them. That's foreign. Like he asked him a couple of questions, and he asked him like, what's his TK number or something, and then he was like,
fuck.
That was it. He was like, TK number, and then thankfully, Bill Burr's character stepped in for the save, or he'd have been made right then and there.
Yeah. And then as they left, they're trying to leave. He's like, "You're not dismissed." And then he's like, "Oh, you the guys that made it, the only group that made it." So he bought them drinks, the officer, and like a very Quentin Tarantino scene. You see him talking smack right in front of Bill Burr, and you see him being a cynic. Or why he's like that. You see that why he served the people. He liked the people he was serving with, and he asks the officer about Operation Cinder, which was in the Battlefield story, Battlefield 2 story, where they just destroyed anything that let people that the Empire destroyed any Empire city they thought exposed them to the defeat, which was like uncalled for.
Yeah, seriously.
Really, you ought to shoot yourself in the leg. It's
so losers.
Yeah, so
damn.
So he talks about, and he's like, "Yeah, they're all heroes of the Empire." And he started grinning. I was like, "Ooh!" You could see Mayfeld breaking, and then it finally shoots his ass.
Yeah, he just says, "Fuck it, I can't take it anymore." Because you could see, like, it was showing that what he had done, what he was a part of, was really weighing down on his conscience. Because I think even after he says it, he looks at him, he's like, so I can sleep better at night, or something along those lines. Yeah. So, it was good to show that he did have, remorse. He just wasn't like this kind of asshole character who was just like, yeah, I'm, ex-Empire, but I don't really give a shit anymore. But like he actually, felt bad for all the innocent people, that he took place in, slaughtering. So it was a good thing to see him kind of like redeem himself, which is, as a reoccurring thing in Star Wars, people having these little redemptions, So it was good to see that with a a character like Bill Burr's character, like just giving him that depth and backstory. I think was really unique.
Yeah, and he talked about the natives. Was it good for them? Was it good for them? And then, yeah, or like in Django when the guy says, "Come on, man, I gotta do it. I gotta shoot him."
Fuck it, yeah.
And then they had to make their escape, and they're like shoot all this when they leave off the side of the window. Car dude and that other sharpshooter you see their sniping skills are on point.
Fennec.
Fennec, yeah. And then they get to the roof and get on. They jump on the Slave One, and then we see a little fan moment of the Slave One dropping that seismic charge bomb.
Yeah, from episode 2, I think.
Episode 2, yeah.
Cute little nod. Oh my, aww. More prequel love.
More prequel. Yeah, people really love the prequels. So don't underestimate the prequels. So
nah, definitely not.
Yeah, and on the recap, we see, which I watch every episode because sometimes it really pulls from. They need to. They're definitely reminding you in this episode. You need to remember this. And we see Moff Gideon talk about he'll mean more to me than you'll ever know to Din Djarin when they first meet. And Din Djarin leaves a message for Moff Gideon, and he says the exact same words, but in a different context. So you can see that he compromised his beliefs, and even in his tone, even though Moff Gideon probably doesn't know what he actually did, but we know as the audience that he really cares for the child.
He done effed up.
Yeah, he
done fucked up. Moff Gideon fucked up.
So even the officer was scared when he showed him the lip. So we'll see next week. We'll finally see them hopefully do battle.
The duel, yeah. I'm assuming it's definitely gonna involve the Darksaber. It's gonna end. It's more than likely will end with Mando taking it. Probably even killing Moff Gideon with it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this next episode will probably be the longest since the first episode of the season. Like the first one so far was the longest, maybe an hour or a little over less than an hour. Yeah, so I'm assuming that more than likely this final episode definitely will be around that same runtime, probably a little longer. Since this has been built up since the last episode of season 1.
Yeah.
See these two finally, clash, and I think we're probably gonna see some more with Grogu, some more use of his force powers. I think, I think that would be pretty interesting. We may get to see
a Jedi.
The rumor of who may have sensed him. There's been a lot of theories and rumors. Going around from Ezra's to Luke's to Mace Windu's even
So we'll see. Hopefully we'll see.
I think we'll get an answer, or if we don't even get an answer, we may
teaser,
a little tease.
Yeah.
Because we'll see a Jedi robe and it'll cut right then and there. Yeah. Like 8 months. See who the hell's robe that was.
Yeah. I'm scared that even though they'll fight him, that they might lose. And then we'll have to continue until next season.
They better not Dragon Ball Z us. I swear to God. The battle needs to finish right then and there by the time that episode wraps up. I don't think they'll leave us on a cliffhanger like that. I hope not.
I didn't see the jetpack on The Mandalorian, but he didn't really need it this episode. So hopefully he picked it back up.
More than likely.
Yeah.
I think he'll be in full Beskar armor, because he's going to use the spear. I think we're going to see that in action. I don't think it would have been shown as something that important.
Yeah.
We weren't going to see it actually be used. Only
definitely, they're definitely going to use that spear.
With Ahsoka in there. So,
yeah. Shout out to the director for this episode.
We may see Bo-Katan in the squad.
Bo-Katan, yeah, hopefully, and your girl, Bo-Katan and her goons.
The squad,
Yeah, they did announce a lot of shows yesterday, but hopefully luckily none of those were spoiler-ish. So.
Yeah, I mean the Ahsoka we kind of
knew already.
We definitely suspected
Rangers of the New Republic is the Cara Dune show, I think. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, like that. It was a Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron, the movie feature film. Patty Jenkins looking good.
It was a lot. There was a lot of Star Wars announcements.
Yeah, I like the director for this one has been very consistent. Hopefully, he gets something, and I'll give this episode an 8. It's hard to give
Yeah, I think on average, a lot of these.
This is a close
between this 7 and 9 range. This one I want to give like a 8.5. I really enjoyed Bill Burr's character. I love the background that we kind of dug in with him, So it's good that I enjoyed him when the first time we seen him in season 1. So I like when they don't just kind of use these cameos, these stories for like these one and done appearances, especially when they're pretty good characters. You know, they do give them depth, and I did enjoy that. So for me, you know, and just the episode being pretty good, and like I said, I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it. Wow, that scene was very Tarantino like. It did have those Django vibes, definitely. So stuff like that, you know, plus on just the episode being just, pretty good.
It's very
I give it 8.5.
Yeah.
If I could predict my rating for next episode, probably be a 9.
Yeah.
Like I want to probably a 9.
I'll probably actually move it up to 9 because we don't have Baby Grogu this episode, and we don't. And like Boba Fett,
we ain't even see a flashback when.
It's like it shows that this was a great episode. This shows that you don't need Baby Grogu to be a thing.
Exactly, because like watching the episode, I didn't even think of I thought about him, but it didn't hit to me like, are we gonna see him? Like like because the episode was so interesting. Like you're right. Like it's like he doesn't need to be there for this show to be interesting, whatsoever.
Even though the motives is pushing was Baby Grogu was, but still, like we don't need any like even Boba Fett was taking a backseat to it. So it's nice to see the Mandalore be in the Mandalore,
Exactly.
So next week we will see you. This is Subscribed Reviews again on Camp Nas. We'll see you next week.
All right.